In the second part of working in the banner area, we're going to be moving, manipulating, eliminating, whatever you want to call it, in both the application banner and the home screen banner. My preference is to start in the home screen banner. This is what I have open now, and to the right we have different items that are in this area. In this particular theme, white is the chosen color that I went with simply because it blended in best with the wallpapers. These are 3D wallpapers, and as you can see, it kind of stands out and emphasizes the 3D. Now, if you go down into the visibility area on this screen, this is strictly a preference type thing. Now, what I choose to do and what other developers choose to do may not coincide with each other, and it may not coincide with what you like to see. A lot of people like to have their profile icon up there. To me, it's just another way of blocking my wallpapers. You will get to know farther down the line a little bit more about Papa Mag, and that I don't like to hide my wallpapers, so I don't use a lot of fancy icons. I stick with the precisions and color them, do a few things like that. Very seldom will you see me use anything like an iPhone icon or a Windows 7 icon that will block my entire wallpaper up. That's just a preference as a developer for me. But what I choose to use now, if we go down into the visibility, I uncheck the network, the carrier, the profile, the roaming. Now if you go back up into the simulator, you will see that that gives me a lot more room up here to work with if I choose to leave everything on top, or I can move them down below. I very seldom ever do that. I usually keep everything in the top. And then in my banner area, or the application banner, I'm sorry, I would choose the same things. I would eliminate the carrier and the network. Obviously, everybody knows who the network and their carrier is. And the roaming devices is something that I don't feel is necessary either. So, as you can see, that gives me a lot more room. Now, if we go back into the home screen, to move these, you would simply click on the reposition banner items. And here's just what I generally do. I would take the date item, slide it up, and what I normally found is copacetic with my themes is the center button right here in this block, just underneath the K here. It's pretty much center screen or center on my trackpad. So I would move that there. I would leave my time where it's at. I usually take my Bluetooth, move it over and place it under the battery. I usually leave my unread icons where it's at. I also take the alarm button and put it somewhere in the same spacing between here as over on this side as well. And then as far as the navigation or the GPS indicator, you can do whatever you want. If you do not use this GPS, you don't have your alarm set, or you don't have your Bluetooth hooked up, these will not show on your screen anyway. So then if you unclick on the reposition, that's generally how my screen would look in the simulator. In the application banner, I would reposition this way. I would drag this out of the way. I would move this over. And what I do want to cover right now is, if you see this very tight area, if the date changes and the numbers get a little larger, this will block the M out or something. Now if you go over into Inspector, you'll see over here on the right hand side of the time there is a symbol for spacing. You click on it, that would be the right side, this would be center, this would be left. My preference is to go center, and then what I do is grab that right side and drag the shaded area out. Now you can see the spacing is much better. I've got plenty of room as my time changes. You need to be aware of this both in the time, well, you need to be aware of it in all of these areas, even in the shaded area for your unread icons. If you get this down too small and end up with double-digit messages, it will chop off the second digit, so you need to make sure you allow enough room. I generally place this up top, center between the battery and the time. I usually take my Bluetooth, put it back over underneath the battery indicator once again, and I take my GPS, slide it over to here, and I take my alarm and slide it over and space it somewhat the same as here as well. And then I would unclick it, and that's what you would see. Now, as I was saying in the last tutorial, you would want to check this in your application to see how it looks up here for spacing. You would also go to your phones, your incoming. You would go to your active, see what it looks like here, and the same thing, you would work the same in your home screen. So you see what it is here, and our lock screens are the same, so we know they're going to work. So that's just a little bit on spacing, eliminating, selecting what you want to do in your visibility and your indicators. Now obviously we can change colors. We can do a lot of things with this. We will get into that in the next tutorials coming in the future. Once again, I would like to say, always save, save, save your work as you go or at the end of each phase so you don't lose what you've done.